That's Kayle. Welcome to Rooted.
I'm Kayle.
So, what a week, huh?
Man, crazy week. This week was hard, like on every front. We had plumbing failures, which I still haven't fixed. I think I fixed some plumbing failures this week, but not all of them.
Started fixing one.
Well, you got the washing machine about as far as I could get it without parts. I replumbed all the sections that burst because of how cold it got.
Yeah.
And then the bathroom upstairs, I'm still in the middle of fixing. Electrical this week. I feel like there's multiple electrical things that happened.
Well, so we had the dining room lights that had been out for weeks, right? And I just happened to do like the wife. Hi, honey. If you remember, we haven't had dinner in the dining room for I don't know how long. And okay. And that was about the same time frame night where I brought up that Elijah's heater wasn't working. And so it was like a twofer where you're kind of focused on the heater and then also focused on the electric. But we also just had that winter storm and ran out of oil. And then once we got the oil, you realized you had to replace the filter because the boiler wouldn't prime and start. And then you went to replace the filter. And we ended up with 20 gallons of heating oil in our basement.
So I was sitting down there last night. And I was,
smelling it?
Well, I mean, I think we were all smelling it. But no, I was sitting down there last night and I was looking at the surface area that there was oil. And I'm like, I had just been holding a 5-gallon gas can. I'm like, there's no way that was only 20 gallons.
It was just all of it.
It was everywhere. Yeah. Week. It was a tornado.
In like a financial ruin week too.
Yeah.
Month.
It's like, let's take everything we have, put it on oil, and then I'll spill half of it.
Yeah.
It's hard too. Good. It's really hard. One of the videos I posted this week, it was like, most of these videos I've been posting lately are really just me talking to myself at a camera and like masking it to the viewer.
What do you mean?
Like, let me pray for you. If this is going on in your life.
But like, help, pray for me.
But I'm like, this is me, man. But like, no one cares if I'm just like, I'm falling apart. So I'm like, if you're falling apart, let's deal with it together. You know? And I mean, I wait, right? Like, I wait until my head's on a little better. So that, because I'm thinking, when I'm like really in it and like stuff is hard and I'm stressed out, I don't go right to the right answer every time. Like, I wallow, I'm stressy, whatever. So, like, you don't want to hear me right then.
Right.
But as soon as I get those little Holy Spirit whispers on, like, what I'm supposed to do and how to give it to God and all those things, I'm like, all right, let me just hit record and we'll work through it together.
Right.
But I play it off like, hey, Jeff on the other side of the phone, if you spilled 50 gallons of oil in your basement this week, this video's for you. And
one guy's like, how do you know?
Susan's like, what? But I noticed, though, this week, I think I posted twice. And I had made a habit of posting daily. Like, no matter what I had going on, if I didn't have, like, a topic I wanted to, like, speak on, I would just pray.
Well, I mean,
but I think I posted, like, twice this week. And it wasn't even just because I was busy. It's because my headspace wasn't right.
Right.
I was like, I just woke up stressed. I lived my day stressed. I went to bed stressed for, like, days on end. I wasn't getting enough sleep because we're up dealing with a different house emergency. So the last video I posted...
traveling, too. I mean,
yeah.
With hockey tournament and gymnastics tournament in a winter
season. I was thinking, like, the week, like, Monday through Friday week. But, yeah, we had that, too.
Well, right, but that week got taken up with whatever we would have been dealing with on the weekend.
Yeah.
And the stressors. And the previous week that kind of got eaten up because we left on a Friday. There was a lot.
It's been a whirlwind.
And the toilet is backed up and the toilet remnants are coming up the shower drain, so we have that too.
It's my favorite.
It's not every room, but it's every floor. There's something.
Yep.
And then every type of fix that would be
electrical, heating, plumbing.
The washer's broken.
The washer's broken now.
And a part of it inside the you said froze and broke, right?
Yeah.
And then in the wall, the pipe froze and burst. Mm-hmm. So then you went and replaced that. So you fixed a bunch of plumbing. You fixed some of the
I fixed it from where it burst. And
then as
I worked third. In the laundry room. I've blown 2 washer hoses in that laundry room like this month.
That's right.
And then this time it wasn't the hookup, it was the actual pipe that exploded. But I mean, we've had wind chills down negative. We had a negative 40 last week. Yeah. 2 negative 19s.
Well, so the laundry room is fine when the oil is good and the heat is running down there because everything stays warm. It was the mixture of not having oil at the same time. Plus, we were not even here. So we're not here. We're not running the other heat. So at that point, everything's cold. And then we got pipes bursting. Not to mention, we still are missing a wall in the other bathroom because another pipe burst that froze. So
much fun. But what I was saying, though, was that last video I posted was like, it's okay to have a bad day. Yeah. Like, nothing's wrong with your faith. Yeah. Because you felt sad or depressed or whatever. And I think when I first came to faith, I thought, like, once you go down in that water and you come back up, your days are just better. The grass is just greener.
That's so cute.
You have this confidence about you. You're unshakable. And so I'm sitting there this week like, I try to be intentional with my time uplifting people, right? Like using the things I've overcome through him to help other people get through stuff too. So then when I'm on like day 3 of I don't want to get out of bed, I'm like, okay, fruits of the spirit say I should have joy. I should have peace. I should have patience. Yeah. I should have all these things. And I feel none of them right now. Yeah. And there's this like misconception, and maybe it's just on a personal level. Maybe other people don't think this, but I thought Christians just dealt with problems different. And so that video I posted was like, kind of like there's a difference between joy.
Like had different problems or dealt, because we do deal with problems differently, I think.
I guess what I mean is like it's less, you'd be like I pictured a Christian like 10 years ago. I would picture a Christian like, well, this is a bad day, but that's okay. Everything's still good otherwise. You know, just like looking at the glass half full all the time. And so when I'm sitting there like mad, depressed, I feel like everything that could go wrong is going wrong. I'm not like, well, at least I have this hope. You know, like in my soul I am. But in that moment, I'm like, if one more thing goes wrong, dude, I swear. And it made me feel like a fraud. How am I going to tell these people all this stuff? And then I'm over here mad, gritting my teeth and white knuckling it through my day. But it reminded me of a conversation you and I had. That God has given us all of our emotions for a reason. Yeah. Right? And like, you can feel stressy. You can feel depressy for a moment. Right? But I think the difference is that a follower of Christ takes those thoughts captive and gives them to God instead of donning them like an article of clothing. Right? Or like a tattoo that's going to be there forever. Like when people would be like, I am depressed. Right. You're like, you are now like identifying as an emotion that's temporary. Right. Like I've never said I am joy. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
Like,
well, I mean, I think depressed is kind of, it's a diagnosis, right? And, or can be. Whereas sadness is your emotion. It's like I am sadness.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's been sad. I don't know that everyone's been depressed. And I feel like, but I mean, you can be depressed and not be diagnosed. You know, like depression is, for me, when I think of depression, I think of like a hopelessness. Like this is never going to get better. Right. Sad is like the McRib's out at McDonald's and I really wish it wasn't. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever had a McRib. This was the first thing that came to my mind.
It's not good. Oh. Sorry to everyone who thinks it is good. But I think that although you made it comical with we had hope. So it is kind of it. It might not happen in that moment. Right. But when we were laying there the other night and till 5 a.m, and I was at a point of like chest pain, stress about finances in the mixture of the washer and the burst pipes and the holes in the walls and like all of the things going wrong in this house and the money and the mortgage at this point, like we're taking mortgage money to handle situations with broken everythings plus travel that has to come up. There's just so much that's happening. And I was in a headspace that was so frustrated. Yeah. And I had just been on a podcast, on someone else's podcast recently, talking about Romans 5:3-5, where suffering produces patience and perseverance, character, perseverance, whatever. The order of it is now escaping me as I'm trying to think. But The point is, you go through your suffering, you get through it, and now you have a new means of getting through something. Mm-hmm. But I've been in debt plenty of times. I've had financial issues. I've had pipes burst before. But I don't know that I've had every single piece happen in 1 week.
At the same time? Yeah.
And I'm laying there with you and, like, truly thinking, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. Like, I'm going to have to just be up all night. This is it. And not to mention, we're, like, ticking down how much oil we have left that night. And you grabbed my hand and just started to pray. And there was such a peace that came over me. And it speaks twofold. Because that is, you know, Christians have hope, right? And that hope is, let us pray, right? And it just speaks so much to our marriage and how we've grown. And I still think praying with somebody, especially your spouse, is like the most intimate thing you can do. But
can I tell you, so praying was not my idea.
It wasn't mine.
I'm laying there, and it's like, grab her hand and pray with her. I'm like, no. Pray for her. I was like, all right, I will.
If you can grab her butt, you can grab her hand.
And I'm like kind of like leaning the other way, and I'm like, okay, what would I even say? Like, how do I even word this? And I get like so sheepish about it with you, which is so stupid. Like, I pray with thousands of people on the internet I've never met. Like, no words.
Right. You're not holding their hands, though.
Something just vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I was like, you know, I'm sure she's already praying about it. I don't need to pray about it. And so, like, I think I had fully rolled over. And it was like, pray with her. I was like, okay. And I was so glad I did. Because it brought me peace. And I was just trying to be neutral. Because you were kind of spiraling. And I was too. But I'm like, if I feed the fire with gasoline, it's not going to calm you down. Right. So I was just kind of like doing the guy thing. I was like, wow, yeah, that's crazy. You know? But I was like, when I prayed too, I had this kind of like, all right. And then if you remember, right after that, I got in problem solving mode.
Yeah. You stayed up all night and one got oil to go in.
Yeah. But I don't know. There is something about it. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just saying, I was not like, I know. I'll pray for her. It was the Holy Spirit.
It felt vulnerable. All of it did. And in a really good way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what praying should feel like. Because I think so often, you know, we have routine prayers, right? You're in church, and everyone bow your heads after worship or whatever. Sure.
Especially depending on your denomination.
Right. Or you're at the table, and it's time to pray before dinner. And, you know, once in a while, a guest or a kid is like, you know. But other than that, it's your routine. Yeah. Or even if you're having a bad day, and you bow your head real quick, and you have a 2-minute chit chat, it's not as vulnerable feeling. Yeah. So between the two of us, it felt very vulnerable and intimate, and it really felt like we invited God into the situation with, like, we mail him an invitation. Like, I hope he shows up, and we know he will, right? But it just felt so raw. And the other day, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, a lot of it was still on my mind, and other people, I have a few friends right now all dealing with breast cancer and or breast cancer potential situations. Sure. Some of it's not confirmed, and it's just, I have so many friends dealing with severe health issues, and friends with situations with their children. There's so much going on. And so my heart was really, really, really heavy in almost a comparison way, but not in a bad way. I felt heavy because of our finances and the house and everything going on. But I was sitting in a warm room with a roof over my head, looking at Hazel, just being Hazel, and just being 5, you know, and without any care. And I started to think about all of the other people I know who I'm regularly praying for, but I don't feel like I take enough time. I feel like I pray, but I pray quickly. Yeah. So I just sat in that chair over there, and I closed my eyes, and I don't know where you were.
Probably fixing a catastrophe.
Probably I think you were dealing with a toilet or at the hardware store. But I just sat there praying. Yeah. almost out loud. It was out loud, but it was like, you probably couldn't have understood me. And eyes were closed, and it was a long time.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long, but long enough. Hazel was just like watching something or whatever, and finally I opened my eyes, and I had like tears in my eyes. And it was just such a vulnerable, focused prayer. And I think that's it. Is I'm personally not focused most of the time. I'm parenting, I'm being a wife, I'm worried about dinner, I'm working, whatever it is that we're dealing with, and I'm praying. But there's always something reeling. It's like whatever keeps you up at night is also in the back of my mind while I'm praying. Yeah. And Hazel, once I finish, she looks at me and she goes, "Were you praying?" And I said, "Yes, I was." And she said, "Oh, good. Amen." And that was it. Like, she didn't really know, and she couldn't understand or hear really, because I was like mumbling. Yeah. But she knew. And there was something vulnerable about that too, even though she's a child, and so I pray with her all the time. We pray with her every night. Yeah. But those routine prayers, they don't. Right.
And when you were talking about it, the word submission came to my head. When you were talking about the vulnerability of us praying upstairs together in that moment when we're like, we put all our cards on the table, all the stress, all the problems, and we're talking through it, and we're having that like, what the heck are we gonna do? Yeah. And then we pray together. Yeah. There's a surrender, there's a submission to each other in that moment, right? And then submitting ourselves unto the Lord as one, literally, like out loud, intentionally. Right. It's different. There's a way to pray. There's a difference between bowing and submitting. You can bow for a second and stand up and walk away, right? Like if you like met like the King of England and you're like, okay, or whatever. You know? But like submitting should feel weird, right? Our nature isn't to be submissive to people. At least mine isn't. And so like to realize and remember who you are in the grand scheme of things comparatively to the creator of the universe and kneel before him and ask for help. I know I hate when people try to use euphemisms or real world examples of like how God is, like in a human way, because it like falls so short. But like I picture God sitting on the couch, right, being like the dad, and looking at like Hazel trying to build Legos, knowing she can't, right? Like she can. For this example, she has the instructions. She's not reading them. She's trying to do the thing, and she's screwing up time and time and time again. I could at any point, the God, dad, couch person in this scenario, just go over and be like, "Let me help you. Let me show you what to do." But I won't. Right? Like, we're going to sit and we're going to watch and we're going to see how far she can get on her own. We're going to see when she's going to ask for help. We're willing to help and we're right here. Right. But, like, we want her to get to the end of herself before she invites us into the conversation. I guess I don't really like how that landed. But I'm not going to intervene without being called into it. So, like, when you said we'd, like, send an invitation to God and we'll know he'll show up, it's like, I picture him, he's standing there like, when y'all gonna keep talking about y'all's money problems and your heating problems and your pipe problems, I'm right here. Right. Like, when are you gonna talk to me? Right. You know? Anyway, that's my Hazel Lego couch god dad story. But you know what? I will say, at the end of this whole week, what happened? Our older kid's father reached out and asked if he could have them for the weekend, which meant you and I got the whole day together today. Yeah. I don't remember the last day that we had no kid sports, no work, nothing else going on. And like, I feel like I spent a good amount of time with Hazel and you were doing stuff, but today was a nothing day. Yeah. And it was so needed. Yeah. With the stress of the week, with the nonstop of the last weekend. Last weekend, we live in Maine. We had a hockey tournament over the course of 48 hours or so in New Hampshire. Vermont. Yeah. And then a gymnastics thing on Sunday in New Hampshire that was 3.5 hours away. During a crazy snowstorm. Yeah. Like...
They're like, don't travel. We're like, we're hockey
But you better be in gymnastics. Sorry. Yeah, it's just crazy. And you've been go. Yeah. And I mean, most of that's self-inflicted wounds, right? Like, we signed the kids up for hockey. We signed the kids up for gymnastics. We do it to ourselves. And it's all worth it. But to have a whole day at the end of this last just sprint of chaos to just kick it with you, oh man. I got brownies today, homemade brownies. I got homemade sourdough something or other bread that blew my socks off. Got some red meat. Like, what else do I need? Today filled my cup up so much. And I got to spend so much time with Hazel. I told you earlier, Hazel was like, Dad, we almost never get to spend the whole day together. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I was like, how sad is that my kid's homeschooled and I work from home and we never get a whole day together? Right. We have so many competing priorities. So, I mean, the Sabbath, the rest after the work is biblical. Right. And we often, and I think maybe just in America, especially as younger-ish parents with kids running amok, we don't get Sabbath like that. Like, not an intentional all day, just like...
Right. Well, that, because, like, Sabbath doesn't usually feel like Sabbath, right? You're, like, up early, running around. Scarlett is on the worship team, so she has to be there early to practice. And then... And we have church, and it's like, you know, you're dressed halfway decently, right, or attempting to, depending on the day. And plus, it's like crappy weather, so it's a lot, especially in the winter. And then we have hockey, and sometimes, as long as we can make it and fit everything, it's back to back to back to back. And then you're like, oh crap, I forgot to feed the children. So now we're like feeding people and trying to figure out, are we buying food, or should we make sandwiches to bring, save money? It's always a lot, but. You said something earlier about, serving other people. That's not the word you used. Surrender. And you said it's not like your usual default setting, but I actually really want to disagree with you. So, your default setting is very much, how can I do things for other people? Serving. It is a form of surrender, though. Serving is a form of
surrender. Maybe I meant submission. Either way, my point is just like taking that submissive subsidiary role. No. Like posturing yourself as beneath.
That's servanthood.
Intentionally.
That's servanthood, which is actually leadership, which is what that rewinds back for me. I said rewind, just so rewinds back. Elementary. To the prayer moment. Yeah. Because it felt like you felt my stress. Mm-hmm. And while you might not have, even though you're the one who's hands-on, like covered in oil or toilet water, all of it, it's you that's usually wearing it, literally. But financially, for me, the stress felt like a lot. And the project management of it all to, okay, when do I say this one should come first, or let's work on this, or which pieces do we need, so we have to buy this or this, what's more affordable, all of it. And it felt almost like serving from you to me, even though it was serving God together.
Sure.
And even today, with being able to just be with one another in such a relaxed day, it went so well because of the team leadership that we have in this home, where you sat on the floor serving Hazel, essentially, right? Providing her with her fake garden and growing coffee cakes or whatever.
There's nothing fake about that garden.
I'm sure we're going to have so many coffee cakes.
There's grizzly bears on it.
There was grizzly. She fought them. But, and the dinner and the bread and you said, man, I'm craving a brownie. So I said, well, you provide the bath for Hazel while I make the brownies, and we will be able to team effort this, and you get what you want, she gets what she needs.
And for the record, I wasn't like, hey, make me some brownies. You know what I'm saying?
No, you said I was
just sitting there, I was like, man, I could go for a brownie. And you were like, on it. What?
I think that goes to show how important it is to lead a home with the others in the home first.
Yeah.
Because we all get covered then at that point. And it goes back to the prayer for me. Yeah. It felt like a next step, whereas we pray together, but it's almost never in an interrupt the really awful moment prayer. We don't do that. And now we do, which I think is great. Yeah. And I hope we do more of it, because I'm sure that there's more suffering to come. Because We love perseverance and character. But I have so much stinking character when I'm older. Still older, I'm already 40, whatever. Anyway, I think that there's a really good movement of servant leadership in this home overall. And when we're not doing that, that's when you feel the most stress. I think when you feel alone dealing with an issue, and it seems like everyone else in the house is just not helping or whatever. Or I am clicking the button to pay bills, and I feel like nobody else gets that there's this much in the account, but we all want this much in the fridge or whatever. We all have moments where we feel not served or alone in our frustration, right, in our suffering. And the second we communicate about it, give it to God, and start serving one another, problem solving almost immediately begins. That's not to say that the next day we woke up and all of a sudden there's $1 million in our bank account and everything's
the next day I get woken up by someone telling me something else in the house exploded or is leaking.
It was Elijah who came in and said, the toilet's backed up and there's poop water in the shower drain. And I thought, oh good. Can't wait.
And then you said, babe.
Yep. I'm not. So I got married.
Draw the line. No, and I think, you kind of breeze right over it, but all of that takes communication, especially in marriage. Like you said, communication. But it's such a bigger point than that. Like, I don't want to get graphic because it's just family friendly, but communication is important in every facet of a relationship and a marriage.
Right.
Because there can be moments where you're like, I'm really craving intimacy.
Right. It's a good way.
And saying that puts that on the table. Yeah. It even if nothing happens, the other person is aware of where your head's at. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like brownies, right? Let's use brownies for everything. That's the X variable. I spoke. I made it known that brownies were on my mind.
Yes, you did.
And then I got a brownie.
Yes, you did.
So, communication is essential. And it's bidirectional.
Right.
We both have to be, and it's about everything. If you didn't come to me with all the stress that night about where your head was at, we wouldn't have ended up praying together like that. Right. I wouldn't have really, like, I know the stress exists, right? And like, you could know I'm hungry, but you don't know that I want a brownie, right? I can know you're stressed, but I don't know how far it goes, how deep you're feeling it until you talk about it. Mm-hmm. And then when we put stuff on the table, then we can navigate it together. I think, and I don't know that this is biblically sound, but I think that, disclaimer, if we're going through something and you are in one room praying and I'm in one room praying, God hears us. But there's a power in coming together.
That's biblical. When two or more are gathered. I mean, it says it.
Right, okay, so just whatever. I was just going to go down a different road with that. Like, if you and Elijah are praying in one room and Scarlett and I are praying in the other.
So we got two or more in the other rooms.
Sure.
It's not marital.
When we come together.
A cord of three strands.
100%. 100%.
It's biblical.
And it's different because, like, I stay praying over our problems. You stay praying over our problems.
It's biblical.
But when we Captain America our problems.
Was I supposed to?
Did I say Captain America? I meant Captain Planet.
Yeah.
The rings.
Yeah.
You were like, why is Captain America fist bumping?
But then I thought I missed the fist. I'm here now.
You did, though.
I'm Captain
Planet.
Captain
America.
Flamerica. Cool.
It's just different when you come together like that.
Right now. Over me. I'm sorry.
I hate that our brains are on the same way. I want to tell you something that's super random.
I love that.
I was in the kitchen and I was mad. Not at anyone. Like, I think I had just come upstairs from the oil spill. Oh. The great oil spill of 2026. Where I literally was standing in inches of oil. Didn't know yet that heating oil wasn't flammable. Like, it's flammable, I think. Yeah. But, like, it has to be atomized for, like, combustion, right? To actually, like, boom. Yeah. But I don't know that. Yeah. I'm just standing in fuel in my basement. The boiler's trying to kick on, which I know has a flame. And I'm like, do I evacuate the house? Am I an IED? like, what am I doing?
I know. I'll call friends. Somebody must work in this stuff.
Right. Hopefully the cell phone radiation doesn't set my bomb off I'm standing on. Anyway, I come upstairs. I kicked my boots off in the laundry room to not track all the fuel through the house. My socks are still soaked. I smell like fuel. My head's pounding. I'm like at my wit's end. And I'm leaning on the island. I'm like, and Elijah walks in. And I immediately like get defensive. Because I'm like, I just assume he's gonna like poke playfully, and I'm not gonna be in the mood for it. Yeah. And it's just like it's not gonna go well. So I just kept my head down, and I'm like, if I don't look at him, if I don't engage him, then maybe he won't engage me, and I won't like be a jerk for no reason when I don't mean to be. And not that like I'm a jerk.
No, but
I was in a very high stress moment.
Grumpy dad moment. Hand me the right tool, and it's the wrong tool.
Hold the flashlight.
Right? We all have 90s trauma.
Right. No, my dad. Ever looked at tools before, but I've heard about it.
Watch him listen to this one episode. Be like, hold the tool.
Anyway, Elijah's like, "Oh man, are you okay?" I was like I felt lighter immediately. Yeah. Like he didn't poke. He was like, "Hey, I care. Are you good?" And I was like, "Man, it feels like it's just hit after hit after hit after hit." And I'm like, you watch any movie about like parents, you don't share when you're hurting with your kids, right? Like, you'll talk to people and you'll be like, I guess I was broke my whole life, but my parents never let me know. You know? Like, they just act like they shield you from everything.
I don't think that should be how it
Yeah. But so Elijah is like, you good? I'm like, you know, that merits an honest answer. I was like, no, man, I'm not. Like, it's every day. It's something. Like, I feel like 3 steps forward, 5 steps back. Every time I fix a problem, something else happens. I'm like, I just don't have much gas left in the tank. I'm not getting a full night's sleep ever because it's like always something. And then if I want to spend time with my wife, then I have to stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to do that. And then I'm getting woken up at 6 because there's another emergency. I'm like, I'm tired, man. And he's like, yeah, there's been a lot going on. Hey, have you prayed about it? And I was like, I've been praying all day, buddy. He's like, good. Then you're doing something right. And he just walked away. I'm like, what? My 14-year-old is like, oh yeah, man, that is a lot. And instead of going like, oh man, that sucks, I feel bad for you, right? Or offering any condolence or whatever.
Did you pray about it?
Anything, right. He was like, and he didn't say it like condescending. He was genuine. He was like, well, hey, have you prayed about that? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, man, I've been praying all day. He was like, good, well, you're doing something right. Exit stage left. I was like, in that moment, like, none of my problems changed, but my perspective on what's important did. Right. Because, like, he's 3.5 years away from being less than that. He's almost an adult. And he's going to go have his pipes burst. And he's going to go be short on money. And he's going to have stress issues because it's the human condition. And I know now that at least somewhere in there, he knows how to fight it the right way. Yeah. You know? Like, I fought my problems with alcohol and prescriptions. That's where that S was coming from. And among other things, right? I didn't know the right way to handle stress until I was, how old am I right now? 34. So I was like 33 and a half.
She's asking how old you are?
Yeah. But my child knows. Yeah. And so we talk about money, we talk about oil, we talk about these things that really don't matter. And like oil matters because it's negative a million degrees.
Right,
we could die. But still, the point is like equipping your children to be able to run their own race well. Yeah. That's a bigger win. Right. What else is there? That's it. That's everything. And that comes from a place of communication. Mm-hmm. And I know you said, letting your kids in on stuff's a whole different story, but like our testimonies are so impactful. Yeah. And that they don't elevate us, right? Like we're still just like a wisp. But being able to show other people what we've been able to conquer through Christ and come out the other side of is what helps people come to the Lord. Sharing those same trials and triumphs with our children has the same impact, right? If not a stronger impact, because they know us on a more intimate level. And so I answer every question the kids ask me, honestly. Yeah. Like every question, down to like, how old were you the first time you played Connect 4 or
before you had a Brownies?
Played Scrabble or whatever. You know, like I'm like, I try to answer as honestly as possible, but I follow it up.
Kids.
I follow it up with not my 5-year-old, my teenagers.
Just wanted to put that out there.
But I try to follow it up with a lesson.
Right.
Like this age, in this circumstance, this is why that was a terrible idea. Yeah. This is the path that led me down, and this is why it took me 20 years to reverse that behavior. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can list multiple mistakes my parents made. Yeah. Were pretty obvious no mistakes. And I'm not going to put their business out there because it's not my place. But they told me after I made the same mistake.
Oh, after?
Big ones. Yeah. Big ones.
And, I know what you're talking about.
And, well, both parents. Big ones. And I do the thing, right? I tell them way later. And they find out way later about whatever it is, right? And they say, oh, well, I dealt with that at blah, 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 all right, you know, and I should have maybe told you. And the whole time I'm like, yeah, like any advice in these situations would have been, so I tell the kids now. Yeah. You know, I think Elijah probably found out first on most things. And now a lot of the stuff's in the book, right? So like, the second they can really read. Shoot, Hazel keeps asking for the book, and now she can read, and I'm like, let's just wait.
She can read like 2 chapters, I think, right now. Maybe.
She's been pretty good. She's been...
No, I mean, like, what's safe for her to read?
Right.
She gets like probably 2 or 3 chapters, that's it.
Yeah.
Like the holidays being sad, she's good with that one.
Right, the puppy dying or whatever. Right, the little stuff. But, I'm going to have to put the book up high or something where she can't reach it soon here. But, the kids now, I have decided to just not even wait for an ask. Yeah. Sometimes it's a lesson from a bigger situation, and their situation's small, and I go, okay, now I want you to hear why this concerns me this much, because it could lead to this. And I know not every little tiny thing leads, you know, and not everything's a gateway drug, I know. But at the same time, if they can understand the principle to making a good decision in the moments when your back's against the wall, or you feel like you don't have any other out, or there's nobody you can talk to because you're afraid you might get in trouble or whatever, I'd rather them know my past, know the mistakes I made, and understand that I understand better than they think. And, well, I'm never going to promise they're not going to be in trouble for something. My understanding of their situation is far greater, and the hope is that they choose to not make the same mistakes I made in some ways, and everyone's going to make their own, right? Sure. Some of mine were pretty dangerous, though, and stupid, and there's, you know, dating the wrong person type of mistakes, and then there's, like, drunk driving mistakes, you know? There's a lot of things that some people never get to undo. Yeah. And I don't ever want to try to hide my bad decisions to look like a...
To what, like save face?
To save face. I'd rather them go, oh, she's human. Yeah. And she learned this the hard way. I'm not going to be as stupid as her.
Well, and I really think that when you neglect, and like maybe you don't share everything with your kids, if there's some like heinous stuff that would like change the way they look at you, maybe, I don't know.
Right,
and I'm not saying like you, I'm just saying in general. But like at the end of the day, I can't speak
for somebody who's a murderer or something. I don't know.
But if you put yourself in this, not even like holier than thou, but like a fake bubble, then when your kids start going through stuff, why would they go to you? Right. They don't think you understand.
Right, they assume you just made all the best decisions.
Right. And so like now you're reinforcing that like I'm a failure, like bad spiral. Right. Because they think they're so far gone. They don't realize you were there too. Right. You know? And I think...
Well, that's the problem too as Christian parents.
Yeah.
Because that life changes happen, and not only are we trying to explain to them salvation on a daily basis, because even though they're children who understand it, sanctification and really changing every day is hard for teenagers to understand.
You're right.
It's there's an
it's so much less black and white. Yeah.
Right. And now, even, I have moments where I go, oh man, I didn't even consider that this would change in my heart. Some of the things about me that I thought were just my default setting.
Like what?
Not liking being around people. My natural pessimistic disposition. All of those pieces come from different places in my life. Yeah. It isn't just, I was born and now I don't like you. It's not it. And I'm learning through daily prayer and realization that I'm not always the most pleasant person, that all changes slowly with giving the little stuff to God along with the big stuff, along with the finances, along with situations with other people, all of it. And the hope is that the kids can see the bad parts in me now too, even though we're the Christian parents who are doing our best and taking them to church and trying to be good examples. We're not perfect. And rather than hiding and pretending that we are, I'd rather go, yeah, no, I screwed up last week. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have judged that person. I shouldn't have sworn. I shouldn't, whatever it is, right? I'm not going to pretend like I'm someone that I'm not. I'm going to own my mistakes and then be honest. At least daily, I apologize to the kids for something I say, or I'm grumpy, or whatever.
And the lessons in that for them are way more impactful than trying to act like you're something you're not, right? Because you're showing them how to take accountability, how to make things right, how to change course, like all the things that most young adults don't know how to do.
Right.
And I think it's because we were a generation where our parents were like, don't worry about that. That's not your business.
Right.
What I did when I was young is not your business. I'm not your friend. I'm
and
your
parent. Their parents. I mean, it's up until our generation that I think that was just the way things were done. Maybe it's the internet that changed things because, politics is way more out there and everyone knows what religion everyone is and all these things that some people just didn't talk about, unless you're in your small circle. Now is everywhere. And
it's on everyone's t-shirts, on everyone's hat, it's everyone's Facebook status.
So that changes how we're honest with each other because we know that whatever we just typed on Facebook or Insta or whatever the other day is now out there for the whole world. So how are you going to pretend like it's not to your own kids? Yeah. There is no pretending. And, we all put on a facade of some type on the internet, right? Like, I'm not posting pictures of Hazel after she has a bloody knee, probably, or whatever, when she fell down, like, whatever it is. We're posting the cute stuff. Sometimes. I guess sometimes we're posting the crazy stuff. But the idea there is we have this view of our home and our family and our life and our marriage and our kids and our religion and our politics and all the things, and we put out there what we want people to see about us.
Sure.
Like, I purposely don't really put political stuff out there. And I have some friends who do all the time and kind of wonder why I don't.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's necessary because it's more divisive than anything else.
Yeah. A couple years back, I would post controversial political stuff just to see who would get mad so I knew how to comb my friends list.
Yeah.
And then I realized somewhere along the way, like, what am I doing?
Right.
So, like, I don't post inappropriate stuff anymore. I don't even really post funny stuff like that anymore. Like, if it's not about my family or ministry, I really just try not to post it.
Right. Well, the funny stuff is, obviously... Again, the sanctification process is long, but I have groups of friends, right? Where they, you get.
I'm not saying I don't share funny stuff. Right, well, I just don't post it.
I don't put it out there for the world to see.
I send it to the right group chats.
I realize later in life that not everything that I think is funny or my friend, my 2-3 closest friends think are funny, the whole world's going to think is funny, or my friend's grandma or whatever. I don't know that the honesty necessarily comes from the fact that we're just more out there now. But I think it has something to do with it because our parents and our parents' parents didn't just have the internet to throw their thoughts out on. So for them, the teachings really were, politics, sex, religion, all those things you keep to yourself in your circle that you know. And when you're at work with 7 coworkers who you're not sure what they think or whatever, you don't divide. You're a team that has a job to do, whatever the organization's mission might be, right? And, well, I agree with that. I don't think that all of it needs to be brought to work. And unfortunately, we live in a world now where if it's on Facebook, you got to bring it with you everywhere you go. But it also makes it easier to go, hey, kids, this is who I am, who I was, how I'm changing. I screwed up today. I said a thing I shouldn't say. I judged somebody, whatever it is. And just apologize for it. Or when they come to you and ask. I listened to the kids' conversations plenty of times about other interactions with other people. And, you know, Scarlett, as a natural 13-year-old girl, tends to be a little more gossipy, right? But Elijah usually is the type to just kind of shut it down.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from a place of honesty. Of saying, I shouldn't have said that, though. Like, we all chuckled about whatever joke we made, right? But, like, that was messed up. That wasn't cool. And I think that that's allowed us to have the ability for Elijah to walk up to you and go, oh, man, are you okay?
Yeah.
Did you pray about it today? I can't imagine at 14 asking my dad if he prayed about something at that age. Because it feels almost like well, did you pray about it? Like, Elijah G checks me on water drinking because I'm not the best water drinker. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I got it, but I'm working. Like, if you want me to drink water, then bring me a water bottle. I don't know. So he will now. He'll just, like, it's like my server. Here you go. But the honesty, as long as it's within boundaries of respect,
sure,
is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I agree with that. Communication, honesty, change everything. It changes the way that you parent. It changes the way that your kids look at you, right? I mean, there's a couple different ways that respect is garnered. Mm-hmm. There's respect by fear, and there's respect by love. I think there's a third type, but like those are the two that come to mind naturally. I knew plenty of kids who grew up who respected their fathers out of fear.
Yeah.
Right? You step out of line, you're getting beat. Yeah. You know, or your mom's getting beat, or something's happening. And so it was a respect out of obligation, out of like self-preservation. And then there's a respect that's like adoration, right? Like, I'm watching the way that you do things, and you're a good person. Like, that's the respect we aim to have with our kids, and that requires some degree of honest communication. And like, for everybody, that might look different. It might not be 100% honest all the time, or maybe it's phased. Like with us, when Elijah was 7, I wasn't telling him about my explorations of my teenage years. He wasn't old enough for that. You know what I'm saying? And like, now, he'll be like, hey, question, did you do drugs when you were in high school? I'm like, yeah, buddy, I did. Yeah. He's like, what kind of drugs? I'm like, we can have that conversation now, and why they were bad, and in what circumstances they happened.
And what situations where you barely lived.
Yeah, no, for real. But, I mean, really, like, you said gateway drug earlier, right? Like, I started smoking weed like every other kid I grew up with. Like, that was, like, the first thing.
Yeah.
But, like, one of my really good friends went from weed straight to heroin. Like, legit. And, like, smoking black tar heroin in his bedroom, like, with his parents' home, like, hiding it type stuff. And then that friend group slowly, more kids started doing it. I was in class with one dude, and I won't say his name because he's friends with me on Facebook. He went to the bathroom while we were in class in school, smoked black tar heroin, and came back to class and was sitting at his desk just as a zombie, sitting in class. Went from weed to heroin. So, like, that's the story that's like, this legit happened. I was, like, watching this person's eyes trying to figure out how they were alive, right? But
that's terrible.
Then I go into, like, the social drugs. And how, like, I went to a party and somebody had ecstasy. Mm-hmm. And they were like, this is a fun way to enjoy a party. And like, I don't know, I've never heard of it. Right. Okay. But so, like, that's a really good conversation of like, I was hanging out with kids I barely knew. They told me to take something, I didn't know what it was. And I did. And cops showed up that night. So, like, that was not fun. But like, I can have these real conversations and steer them in a way of like, hey, maybe don't take drugs from strangers. Even if they say they're fun.
We're not even strangers. Don't take drugs.
Don't put yourself in a situation that's morally compromising in the first place. Right. Maybe don't go to the house party that you know is full of alcohol and drugs because you want to fit in. Because that's what I did. Right. And then I get there, and now I'm going further. I'm doing drugs. I'm hanging out with females that I shouldn't be hanging out with that I've never even met. Yeah. Like, why? The road is slippery, and it's a quick drop to the bottom. Yeah. And so I said all that to say, like, it's a phased approach in aging when you can be a certain level of honest. And you can answer a question at a younger age without going into detail. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Elijah asked me at like 10, have you ever done drugs? Yes. Oh, yeah? Yes. Like, cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. But now, he's heard the name of different drugs. Right. And so if he's like, what is that? Why do people even do that? Right. You know, like, what's the goal? I'll have those conversations, and I've been down those roads. Well, yeah, but then I ended on addiction. Right. Because I have overcome addiction in a lot of different areas. Even when he like jokingly says stuff like, oh, I can't wait till I'm old enough to just like have a beer. I'm like, hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with just having a beer. Right. If you are the type of person that can have a beer, whatever. Right. But you watched me try to be the guy that could have one beer and almost destroy this family. Yeah. So like, don't ever forget that you lived it. Yeah. And you know it's not pretty. Right. So like, don't romanticize alcohol.
To be fair, you were really good at hiding it. And I don't actually think he knew that there was destruction
sober, though?
Happening.
Well, he saw the last night I did. Right. And
but outside of that, I'm saying I don't think that he really
my point is
I don't think he really saw you drunk even, and if he did, he didn't know that he did. I mean, there was times where I didn't know if you were or not, and I genuinely couldn't tell. I'm like, I don't know if he's at anything or 10. I don't know, because your default setting is kind of just fun. So
thank you.
Right, you weren't at like fall asleep holding your beer drunk at that like midday, you know. So I couldn't ever tell, and I just, if I had a hunch, I would just I'd pray that you weren't stupid enough to ever like take the kids somewhere in the car.
I'd notice you'd kiss me like a little longer than normal
to taste
my breath.
Yep, I would.
As it was happening to him, like,
she knows.
I thought I was smart. I'd get the pop top little gum joints you used to have, and they'd stay in my pocket. So like if I came in the same room as you and I was drinking during the day, I popped 3 of them in my mouth and just started chewing away. Like all she'll taste is gum.
You sweat a lot though. It was your skin that I could smell.
That's crazy.
It smelled like alcohol.
Anyway, my point in all that is that like I've talked to Elijah about my struggles with sobriety and all those things, and like now this sober stint is not my first one. This is not the first time I've tried to stop drinking in my life. You know. Right. It impacted my last marriage too. I mean, that was a train wreck, but like I was drinking there, so was she. I mean, I drank in high school, I drank in the Navy, I drank in every stage of my life since, like, I don't know, sophomore, junior year in high school. And I'm 34 now. Like, this is ridiculous. And I've been very honest with him about just how dark that road got for me. Yeah. Like, I go back to, like, living in Hawaii, and I'm, like, drinking and doing drugs in a dark apartment by myself on a rock in the middle of the ocean.
And there goes his DD-214.
And I'm just like, it was the bottom of my whole, that's like when my mental health finally cracked. Yeah. You know, when it all started to fall apart. And I think if I was sober on that rock, like maybe that would have never happened. You know? So I try to tell him how bad it can be, but I don't want to be that prude parent that's like, you're watching the Super Bowl with your wife one day, you better not have one Sam Adams. You know, like,
right.
Well, if you can be the guy who has a beer or have a glass of wine with dinner, cool, man, that's biblical. Right. You know what I mean? Like, people have, you're having a Passover meal, you have a glass of wine, you have some lamb, we're all good. Right. But, like, doing what I was doing, I don't think that's how you're supposed to do it. I don't think a bottle of Jameson after dinner is, like, your normal.
I don't think that was it.
It's their fault they put the whole thing in one glass. I'm just saying.
The bottle?
Yeah.
Being made of glass?
Technically.
I don't think that's a serving
But I don't talk about that.
Yeah. When we talk about servant leadership, we're talking about how much you can serve yourself with. So we're clear.
Now I know.
Now you know.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I think it's good that you're honest with him about it.
You have to be. Or else, because it is enticing. We live in a society that makes recreational drugs, like the weeds and the other lower class drugs, fun almost sounding.
Well, now, and it's legal in our state, right?
Almost,
so,
I mean, dang near everywhere now.
I mean, half the parents at hockey, you could tell, and look at the eyes and go, oh, yep. And it's, none of the dads are fighting now like they used to back in the day at hockey games, right? Because
they're all stoned.
Most hockey games you can buy beer, but now they all kind of just have that default,
mellow.
and they're mellow. I'm like, okay, that's to each their own. Yeah. I am not going to judge something that isn't biblically written out. Do not do.
Oh, I can't, and I've been down all those roads myself. How am I going to look at you any kind of way? I was you. I was just younger,
Right.
I don't know. It's important. But in all of that, I think it's really important, and kind of going back here, it's really important to take a lazy Saturday for yourself once in a while.
Right.
Having this time with you today, having this time with Hazel today, seeing the impact that it had on her, even at bedtime, just how thankful she was that we got to do the littlest stuff. Right? When she was sitting over there trying to get me to do that garden thing, I did not want to do that. My back hurts, my body hurts. I had a long week. I'm not trying to lay on a hardwood floor, whatever. And then, when I finally was like, all right, fine, I'll do the garden thing, she made, fake shovels, and that's when I realized how much effort had gone in. It wasn't like a spur-of-the-moment thing.
Yeah, she
had been thinking about this. She made 2 paper shovels before she asked me. 2. As in, she was planning for me to do it with her, So I get down there, and she had made little fake seeds and stuff we were going to plant. And I start digging, and she was like, wait, Big Daddy. I don't know why she was calling me Big Daddy.
I know, she keeps saying
stressing me out.
She called me Big Mama, and I was like, we
don't do that.
I was like, that one feels rude, I don't like it.
She called me.
She asked you if it was rude, though, right?
Yeah.
After, and I was like.
She said, is it rude if I call you Big Daddy?
Right.
And I was
after
like,
I told her.
I said, it's weird, but you call me whatever you want.
I was like, nah, Big Mama feels rude. I feel like you're calling me fat. And I don't need any extra reminder right now of my whatever.
So she switched, and this is all Bluey's fault, but she switched to Big Fella for a while.
Is that from Bluey?
Oh yeah, Big Daddy, Big Fella, and he'll be like, stop calling me Big Fella, stop calling me Big Daddy. It's all the kids messing with it.
I love Bluey.
But anyway, so we're digging, and she was like, stop! I'm like, I finally started. I didn't even want to do this. In my head, I'm like, yeah, what is it? She found treasure in the fake garden, and then as soon as she handed me a marker to unlock the treasure chest to see what was inside, and I got yelled at because I turned it this way, and I was supposed to turn it this way.
Clearly.
I broke the lock. Then a grizzly bear showed up.
This is stressful.
It's kind of where I'm at.
You already had a rough week with the oil and the
now and then, you know what she does? She picks up her safety scissors and starts swinging it like she's at a rave. And I'm laying 4 inches away from her. She's like, there's a grizzly bear! And I'm like, honey, those are actually scissors. Stop! Stressful. But anyway.
So did she get the grizzly bear?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I actually, once I disarmed her, I went to go pee and I came back. And I was like, did you get the grizzly bear? And she was sweaty. And she was like, oh, Daddy, I killed him. I'm like, okay. Anyway, my point in all that is that as not relaxing as that sounds, for her it was.
Yeah.
She was able to. I just picture that scene from Hook, where they have the food fight.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams is I'm like, what are you doing?
And
then when he finally let his guard down, and you could see it come into life.
Yeah.
That was her with that grizzly bear and that treasure chest, and I was the Robin Williams who's like, dog, you wanted me to play this stupid game. And now I'm doing it, and now you're changing the rules, and I'm wrong. I broke a fake lock with your marker key. I don't even want to be on this ground. And then I see her Peter Pan food fight, the colors on the grizzly bear and all, and I'm like, who am I to take this away from her because I don't feel like it?
Right. And
so I just did the thing. We were gardening for over an hour, laying on that floor, and it's important, the time. We crowd our schedules with fake obligations.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you and I have been like, well, it would be so cool if we had time to do literally anything. But then it'll be 2:30 in the morning, and we're on hour 2 of watching TV, and I'm like, feels like we have a lot more time than we're willing to admit.
Right.
You know, it's what we prioritize when we triage our day. What are we putting at the top of the list?
Right. Well, not even for this podcast.
Yeah.
It's late, and I was laying there tired, and I have more homework to do, and I have other things I need to write, and I laid there thinking, I know I'm not going to write tonight. My brain is just not sit in that chair, and like my back starts to hurt, and I just wasn't feeling it. And you know, obviously homework is homework, and I have to get it done. But I thought if I lay in this bed and stay here, and he comes up, we're probably going to turn on the TV, and then we'll lay here for 2 hours, and we'll be tired tomorrow anyway. So, do I get up and we just talk and do the podcast and see what comes of it?
And the truth is that if that TV didn't get on, we would have had this same conversation just without microphones.
Right. And so then I said, you know what? I'll go downstairs. And if I am too tired and we have nothing to talk about, which is almost never our situation, okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
But I feel like the yearning to just lay there and do nothing was starting to become a spiritual battle. Because it has been weeks since we were able to do a podcast. And
able or willing?
Both. We used plenty of excuses that were, you know, there's some real reasons, right? You know, exploding toilets and pipes and, you know, washers and traveling and all of the there's plenty of things that made it, gardens. Especially the Grizzly Bear Gardens, that made it difficult. And I think we used the kids as a scapegoat as well, plenty of times. And we said, well, you know, the kids are out this and that, but we have 2 teenage kids. So we have babysitters in the house, essentially. Yeah. It would be nothing to go, hey kids, keep an eye on Hazel for an hour. Kayle and I are going to close the office door and have a conversation on the camera. Right. And we have the conversations already. Right? And that's how this thing came about. We said, maybe this would be helpful if somebody else is dealing with something. Yeah. And whether it's, you know, winter storm problems, and especially now with winter storms covering the entire half the United States, and I think right this second the Southeast is getting hit with like a hurricane snowstorm. I don't know. Crap's happening. People's pipes are bursting. Stress is happening in marriages, in households.
And it's the last day of January today. I guess it's after midnight, so it might be February now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's February.
Either way, my point is that we're in that dead of winter.
Yeah.
No more Christmas. No more New Year's.
Yeah.
No more holidays left that are celebratory on a family standpoint.
You're still trying to make up for all the money you spend at Christmas?
It's the time of the year where people are like...
Yeah. It's the time of year where people are making rough decisions. They're drinking too much. They're taking lives. They're mean to their kids. Yeah. They're stressed. They're working a lot more to try to make up for all the money that we decided as a society that we have to spend to make Christmas great. It's all ugly. But in the end of feeling all of that, by putting it on camera and having the conversation, and I'm super excited, first of all, that we are going to start having guests. We have our first guest scheduled, and we have a couple other people that have asked. So I do want to start getting pre-calls done or whatever to start scheduling. But the you and I conversations that made us want to start this in the first place was the hope that the husband or wife or both that were going through it that day with the busted pipe and the kids who were whatever. Somebody's getting bullied or somebody's injured or the finances are tight. Whatever it is that they're going through, that they hear, hey, he grabbed her hand and they just laid there and they prayed. And they found not just solace, but solution. And T-shirt. We're going to have to go back through all these. When do we say T-shirt? Speaking of T-shirts, you can get rooted mugs and T-shirts and hats. But yeah, anyway, the shameless plug. I think that there's something to having the conversation publicly. Yeah. Because we're not alone with our busted pipes. You know?
Well, and I think we're so imperfect that we should be a loud voice. I think that's why, like, TikTok has gone okay for me.
Right.
I'm not the, like, buttoned up, polished theologian who's like, his daddy was a preacher, his great-granddaddy was a preacher, I'm obviously gonna be a preacher.
Right.
None of that. When I notice the videos that I write at, when I have a topic, I'm like, okay, and I'm flipping through the word, and I'm like, okay, Acts 5 says, okay, and I put hours into it. When I hit record, and I do my thing, and I post it, it flops. Every time.
Yeah.
The ones where I'm just like, hey babe, I'll be right back. I got a word. And I just walk outside and I'm freestyling.
Yeah.
Do well.
Yeah.
And I guess what is well and what is flopping in the grand scheme of things. But my point in all that is when I show up with who I actually am.
Right.
I'm a tatted up, broken, borderline okay person. Right? Who loves Jesus, loves my wife, and wants the best life for my kids.
Right.
And I'm showing you I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Right? I struggle too. I hurt too. I still go back to the cross and pick up things that I promised I would leave there too, with you.
Yeah.
I think people hear you a little different because they know you. You might not get it exactly what they're going through, but you're not something else, right? You're not so far removed from what they are that you couldn't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's my hope for this, is that lukewarm father who knows the Lord but like isn't putting in the work. It's like, man, if that guy can do it, I can do it.
But that's the thing with the servant leadership that I was talking. There's a level of altruism that we all forget that we should have in a regular day-to-day. We do it at work because we know somebody's watching, paying attention.
Sure. It's for the promotion.
It's for the promotion or the paycheck or whatever. But when we're in our home and the decision to, let's go to the funny video. You sent me a really funny video the other day of a guy who like was looking at his kid in the doorway and he's playing a video game and like he walks slow and you think he's gonna like choose his kid over the video games and he slams the door and it was funny. But really there is a level of, okay, we're feeling crappy, things aren't going our way, we're depressed, let's zone out and have a beer and play video games, right? That's some dads or some moms even. And you know, whatever mom's thing is, I know like what's the like I guess the mom
I don't know what
thing
y'all
is
do.
like, I think it's like red wine and a Xanax or something. I don't know. I've never actually had Xanax in my life.
That was me.
You're the red wine and the Xanax?
Not the red wine.
But
Psych meds.
again, I'm not judging anybody on Xanax. I know they're prescribed. But I guess my point there is that serving your family and choosing to serve in a way that you're giving your time.
What was that C word?
C word?
Choosing.
Oh, choosing. I was like...
When you were like, after a bad day or whatever you said, zoning out, having a beer and playing video games, I literally went, oh, how nice would that be?
Right. But the kids were standing in the doorway going...
I still want to just drink and play video games and put my feet up and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, my flesh wants that.
Of course, because that's
I've been
selfish
sober
stuff.
almost 1,200 days.
It's a lot of days.
And I'm like, I just want to have like a small glass of whiskey, put my feet up on the couch.
Did you say like a small?
Small serving size, a normal serving size of whiskey.
Getting wider. So
I know that. But that's the point. Is like, for me, cravings didn't go away.
Yeah.
Lust didn't go away. These things don't go away. Right? But the Bible says that for every temptation that you face, and then it says something like, which are all common to man. Like, you're not facing some crazy temptation like that. You're the only one.
right.
The Lord will make the way out clear, or possible, or available, or however it's worded. Not that he's going to take the temptation away,
Right.
but that it's once you face this totally normal temptation that everybody else feels too, the Lord will provide you a path out. You have to take it.
Right.
He's not going to just swoop you on out every time.
Yeah.
you'll have a fork and you choose.
Yeah.
Right? And so I find myself at that fork all the time. Yeah. Do I go on that website I shouldn't go on? Do I sneak a drink here? Like, I'm at the fork and I have to choose the path out that he gave me. So, like, that's important. I know people who are like, and you're like, oh man, how'd you quit drinking? How'd you quit smoking? They're like, man, I just prayed for the Lord to take it away. He removed the taste from my mouth. I don't even crave it anymore.
You're like,
I'm like, what? I'm like, my God can do anything. I did not get that flavor of the love, dog, because I think about drinking 3 or 4 times a week, at least. Yeah. And I don't. But I almost think it's important because then when I go talk to other people who are struggling, I get it. Because, like, if we're talking right now, I probably thought about drinking 45 minutes ago. I understand your craving, brother. Right. This is why we're going to choose this path, though. You know what I mean? I don't know. So that level of, like, vulnerability, it allows you to weaponize your stuff. Because you can connect with your fellow man. You can connect with that other part of the body of Christ because, like, there's a commonality, there's a common ground. We're in the same fight together.
Yeah. I think you brought it up multiple times in that without kind of realizing that the word, when you keep saying down that path keeps going when you're at that fork in the road. So the path to not go on the website or have the drink or whatever it is, right? It continues down a path of sanctification and your heart posture starts to change. If you consistently take the wrong path and it becomes normal for you, look at, and I don't want to say that if you have too many beers, you end up at this end necessarily. I don't want to sound like judgmental, but the Epstein files just got released, right? And or a bunch of them anyway.
Something like
and it is
4 million.
It's mind blowing to me the number of people that are on it, and I know there's exceptions or conversations or some or whatever
context.
There's context to everything, right? And we can certainly contextualize all day, but at the end of the day, you rewind those people's paths to whenever they were 7, 10, 14, and wrong decision, wrong decision, wrong decision. Not a decision to choose something godly. And not everyone was subjected to lifestyles, right? That understood what Jesus did for us, right? But it takes a certain level of desensitization of decision making,
moral corrosion,
right? To a point where you look back and go, "How did I get here?" You know, years and years and years ago, after my DUI, I'm like, I didn't even feel like I had that much at that point. You know what? Like my decisions in that moment, I questioned 15 different ways, but I look back and say, "How did I get here?" Because I used to be the teenager that couldn't understand drinking too much because I have uncles who have issues with some, like I've watched it in my own family deteriorate parts of the family. And I went, oh, this really is small decision, small decision, small decision.
Small compromise. Small compromise.
Right.
And when you said that, I just remembered my grandmother died. I didn't just remember that my grandmother died. I just remembered something. Period. I was right before my 7th birthday. My grandmother passed away, and she had cancer. There's not consensus in the family of what cancer she had first, but by the time she passed, it was everywhere. It was like lung, brain, throat. She had like every flavor. And she was really young too. She's like 43 or 4 when she died, or something like that. Like she wasn't old. Yeah. She had my mother very young. My mom had me at like 20. And so I think she had my mom at 15 or 16. So she would have been like maybe 45. I don't know. She was young. But how it was told to me when I was 7 was that it was because she was a lifelong smoker. Which I don't know. I think if you get cancer, they just say that now. Like, oh, did they smoke yet? But like, whatever. I remember in late elementary school, 5th or 6th grade, maybe. No, it was after that. Anyway, I was getting something out of my mom's purse with permission.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like the keys to the 4-wheeler or something. And I opened it up and there was a bunch of packs of cigarettes in there.
Yeah.
And I remembered immediately this conversation I had with my mom after my grandmother died. My mom and dad were both smokers, cigarette smokers. And when my grandma died, they both like ripped it all up, threw it all out, and like they sat me down and they're like, your grandmother died because she smoked.
Yeah.
We will never do that to you. You know, my dad was like recounting how just like discolored and crazy my grandma looked at the end because like her kidneys and liver were all shut down. She was like green and it was all just like horrifying.
Yeah.
And so they vowed like never again. We'll never smoke again. And so I then grew up like, okay, cigarette smoking is that bad. I'll never do it too. And like my mom would make me like promise that I would never smoke no matter what. Because my mother died. Then I found cigarettes in my mom's purse. And I was like,
you're a liar.
You know what I did though? I took one, I walked out back and I smoked it. Like out of spite. I was like, oh yeah? That's what our promise means?
Oh.
Then we're both going down that road.
Oh.
And I confronted her about it. I'm like, hey, look, you're grown up and I'm not or whatever. But like, you remember you made that promise to me?
Whatever.
But then like you fast forward a couple years. I was smoking a pack a day.
Yeah.
I didn't think back on that. But I went from this like completely opposed to like a slight frustration made me dabble to like I was a chain smoker for what 15 years after that.
But and
it was normal. But it was a small compromise. And we're talking about cigarettes, right? We're not talking about something crazy.
I mean, my grandmother died of lung cancer.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Killed her.
That it applies in every area. You say go back to the 7-year-old, the 10-year-old, whatever. Yeah, 10-year-old me was like, I would never, ever, ever smoke.
But then you correlate that to what we were talking about with being honest with your children.
Mm.
And
she lied to me too, dude.
But not even just
when I was like, hey, I found those cigarettes in your purse. What the heck? She was like, oh, well, we were out somewhere and my friend said she had to use the bathroom, and so she asked me to hold them for her, and so I put them in here. She forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her years later, I'm like, your friend went to the bathroom? And she's like, nah.
Obviously.
So, like, the communication part.
Right. But the correlation there to being honest with your kids in, hey, I make these mistakes, I do these things, and I'm sorry, and I'm rectifying it, right? But with that, the do as I say, not as I do, that we just started making okay.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's laws for some things, right? So, like, I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm not going to let Elijah have a glass of wine. And he's not old enough. But the thought process that you're going to sit your kids down and say, do not do this thing, it kills your grandmother, and then you're just going to go ahead and start doing it, like sneaking it or whatever, is really only teaching your kids how to sneak.
Yeah.
As well. And not do the things.
And if you get caught or called out for it,
just lie. Just lie. Right. It's all crappy lessons, right? And no parent is perfect. I certainly don't claim to be. But in my setting, my default setting with the kids, it is, this is what I did and I shouldn't have. Or this is what I'm doing and I'm working on it. Back when I was a smoker and they would get on me about it, I would acknowledge, no, this is crappy and I shouldn't do it, and I'm working on it, and I did quit. But seeing you actually work on it, it's the same as me trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
If I'm going to complain about my weight, and then they see me in the kitchen mount a thing of brownies, well, hello.
And they'll pull you up.
Elijah really will.
He's like,
did you have water? Why are you eating that?
I need to eat that, dog. And I'm like, bro, that's my wife, bro. He's like, that's my mom, bro.
Well, that's it. He's like, I want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
I care.
He wants you to be happy with it, too, right? He knows that you'll be like, should have done that.
I'm not saying you let your kids parent you. You don't. But if the default setting in the home is, hey, this is how we live.
Yeah.
We read our Bible as a family. We pray as a family. We do our best to eat healthy in this family. We do our best to not consume things that are going to kill us, whether it be cigarettes or excess of alcohol or whatever. And again, I said excess because, well, you're completely sober. I am okay with having a glass of wine because I don't need 10 of them. But I'm also careful with that. Because I don't want to ever be in a situation where I make you go, that's it, I'm having some whiskey, you know? So Elijah and I talk about that a lot too. And I think that's where his thought process of, I want to be old enough to have one comes from. And I kind of just want to like bring him to Europe or Canada and let him have one at 18 or 19 or whatever that age is around there. I think it's 19 in Canada because my best friend and I used to drive to Canada at 19.
I almost just said I've never been.
We went to Canada together.
Then I remembered that. Yeah.
Yeah. We took a road trip to see Road Trip. Well, I guess we flew, technically, and then drove through Montana. Anyway, it correlates. If you're going to be honest with your kids about the mistakes you make and all the things that you do, that goes along with the same setting in parenting as living as an example to the best of your ability. And not saying, hey, because I do one thing, you're going to do something different. The do as I say, not as I do is just, I think it's a crappy way to live.
I totally agree. And I mean, there's some things, right? Like, I remember talking to my brother back in the day. He would label... What? I thought you were like... And I'm like, am I not supposed to talk about my brother?
No, don't say it.
My brother, he parents just a little differently than us.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if this is still how he does it, but when his kids were younger, he would say like there's beers in the fridge, right?
Right.
He would say there's kids drinks and there's adult drinks.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have the kid drinks. You're not allowed to have the adult drinks. So like when we were talking about like, do you swear around your children or not? You know, he's like, on myself or on my children, I don't filter. The same way that there's adult drinks in the fridge and kid drinks in the fridge, my kids know that there's adult words and there's kid words. And they're not allowed to use those words. They're not allowed to have those drinks. They're not allowed to... there's a different level to adult and child or whatever. And like, I see where he's coming from as a concept.
Yeah.
But like for me, I'm pretty open with our kids.
Yeah.
Like we'll be driving and I'll be like, it'll just be like me and Elijah going to hockey by ourselves. And I'll be like, man, I really, really want him to have a drink today. And like, should I say that to him? Maybe not.
Oh, see why not?
But I want him to understand how deeply rooted that is for me. Because it doesn't... If it's just like, oh yeah, I mean like 3 years ago I stopped drinking, whatever. You don't know the pain behind it. Right. You know? And like, not that he needs to, but I really don't ever want him to go down that path of like full-blown alcoholism.
Any temptation, right?
Yeah.
If he hears you say, I'm having a temptation, I've had it all day, when he's dealing with something, he can go, this is exactly what life is, this is normal. If he can overcome it, I can overcome it.
Maybe he writes a phone call.
Or that.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Letting them in on some of that stuff, I think, it plants seeds, it plants breadcrumbs on a trail on how to find your way back out safely.
Yeah.
I think. Oh. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day of rest. And thank you for the wherewithal to be able to sit down and have this conversation after a long day. Father, thank you for all the time that we got to spend together as a family today, for the ability to just take a load off and to just reflect on everything that we've gotten through with you. Father, I ask that with this week coming up, that you guide us. Father, that you help keep our stresses minimal, and that you just continue to walk alongside us and show us the path that you'd have us go down. Father, thank you for the gift of technology. Thank you for allowing us to share our lives with so many people. And I ask that you bless this ministry as we push forward, and that you allow us to do this for exactly as long as you would have us do this, and not a day more. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.